So the question, Dr. Johnson, is how is our system of intervention research based? What research are we using when using interventions or completing interventions?
By definition, and when full transparency, we are moving in the direction of making sure our intervention is research based. Um, However, by definition, the intervention is research based because we are currently um, utilizing the MTSS process to identify our students who are in Tier 2 or Tier 3, specifying those interventions for those tiers, implementing and planning for those interventions, and then monitoring student progress. There is a cycle that takes place, or a process that takes place within the MTSS pyramid that requires an analysis of student performance after a certain time period to determine whether or not the student should remain at the current tier, whether or not they have improved and can move or shift to Tier 1 instruction, or whether or not they need additional intervention for Tier 3 if they are in Tier 2. And as you know, MTSS, that process and that pyramid is very research based to include a multitude of elements that are considered when determining student placement.
All right. The next part says, are these interventions administered by trained professionals?
Yes. On staff, I have a well-trained MTSS specialist. She had, in order to earn this position, she had to demonstrate proficiency with identifying student needs and building capacity with those students through the implementation of research-based interventions. She now serves as the MTSS expert in the building, and she guides all of the processes for every student in the building. So that also helps to build teacher capacity as they review student progress every on Thursdays.
Okay. So let's see. So how does our system of intervention target specific skill deficits of individual students?
In our schedule, we have a time block for intervention, an intervention block, and that time is divided into addressing those students who are in the MTSS support system, as well as those students who are approaching mastery of grade level standards. So I would say that all students in all tiers get support, because those Tier 1 students would be those ones who are approaching mastery. Some call them our bubble students. And our Tier 2 and Tier 3 students get that time in the schedule. Can you please reread the question?
Yes, no problem. So it says, how does our system of intervention target specific skill deficits pertaining to individual students? So I was thinking.
So there is, within the MTSS system, there is a universal screener, that is utilized and given to all students who are identified as possibly needing some help, and that usually comes about from teacher observation. Then we have progress monitoring, which I kind of talked about, and that's when you have ongoing checks, to see if the interventions are working. Then we have data-based decision making, and that is looking at the data from the screening and the teacher monitoring to determine where the student should be placed on the tiers.
All right, I got 2 more left. So the next question is regarding time of intervention. Do these interventions occur in a timely manner? Do they occur almost immediately after a problem was identified through the formative data collection?
I would say ideally yes. Realistically, there's a lag. There's a gap in the which I think contributes to some students who may not need to be in tier 3, but it may have taken time to go through all of the layers and the steps after initial identification. So does it happen immediately? I would say in the majority of the cases, no, it does not.
Okay. All right, we have 3 questions left. The next question is, how does our school schedule allow students to receive interventions during the school day without missing core instruction or electives?
We have an intervention block built into all grade levels. And so there is protected time each day for those interventions to take place.
All right, 2 left. All right, the next one is, what happens when students demonstrate competency on a standard before the majority of their classmates?
Can you please read that again?
No problem. So it states, what happens when students demonstrate competency on a standard before a majority of their classmates?
Oh, what should happen is an opportunity for acceleration, extension, peer coaching. Those are things that should happen when a student has shown a distinguished level of mastery.
All right, last question. Okay, is how do we provide enrichment opportunities for students who have demonstrated competence in a standard?
So, as a STEM certified school here at Oak Cliff Traditional Theme School, our students have, throughout the school year, been engaged in projects, experiments, problem-solving opportunities related to science, technology, engineering, and math. For example, in social studies right now, the 4th grade social studies teacher is on the westward expansion portion. She has connected that to a STEM project related to math and what engineering aspects were necessary with the material available during that time period in order to actually expand westward. So that is an example of what it looks like here at Oak Cliff Traditional Theme School for students to accelerate once they have displayed their distinguished competency of content.
All right, thank you, Dr. Johnson. That is the end of the interview.